We are live. It is officially the beginning of the Formula One 2025 season. Right now, Lewis Hamilton is on track. And right now, day one, morning session, Lewis Hamilton is fourth on the leaderboards right now. Um, Being fourth on the leaderboards, we will see what else Lewis Hamilton is going to do. We are definitely looking for Lewis Hamilton to achieve quite a bit coming into this season, given that he is with Ferrari. There's been a big change made. It is not odd, but it is kind of surprising. Right now, it's just day one morning session. This is kind of almost similar to, I don't want to say it's exactly like, but it can be similar to things like Q1 session. Like you could take something from it, but you can't take everything from it. What's going on, Mary Beanie? But Kimi Antonelli in a Mercedes W16 is right now leading on the leaderboards. I mean, he's leading right now on the leaderboards. So that in itself is quite a. Uh, I don't want to say it's. I don't want to say it's a surprise, but I would like to say that it is kind of odd to see because I don't think many of us thought that they would be there. And let me make sure. Yeah, it is. It is kind of. It's kind of odd to see. I know a lot of people were saying that if Mercedes all of a sudden comes out 2025 and the car's fast, you know, maybe it was. I don't think this is a. I think it took them long enough to where we can't say that. I don't think a team would hold themselves back that much. But there are some things circulating out there that maybe they would in order to kind of damage Lewis Hamilton's career. But I just don't think that would be the case. I think we kind of have to put that to the side. There you go, Lewis Hamilton right there in the Ferrari with the aero rakes. This is the time in the season for that. We're going to see aero rakes. We're going to see flow viz. We're going to see all types of data sensor collecting. We're going to see a lot of things going on. And right there, the Mercedes does look good. I think we rated them as one of the lower teams coming into the season with delivery. There's Aston Martin. That was another team rated low with delivery. And there's the Alpine, another team we rated. But Haas is, if we look at Haas right now, checking out where they are on the boards, we'll see that Behrman is 10th. Okay, 10 drivers out. He's last. I don't know if that's going to be an indication of where they may actually be, but it could be. And I would kind of hope that it would be, but it's kind of hard to say that maybe that won't be the case as we sit right here and just kind of look at the leaderboard big. At that Hamilton's still fourth. Lawson is second in a Red Bull. And there were some things that came out about Red Bull. Possibly they were not changing their concept so much from 2024 to 2025. I don't know how true. We know that Red Bull like to play some games when it comes to the launches and delivery. They don't, they kind of show, and it's odd that we would hear so much about them being so disturbed about being booed, right? Because at the end of the day, you're you're being booed because of things that you've done. But then they do these things and then complain about being booed. You can't play the bad guy and then be upset when people treat you like the bad guy. It's kind of it's contradicting, right? You're choosing to be the bad guy and then you're complaining about being the bad guy. It's just asinine. It's kind of it's pointless. It's like, why would you do that? But as it sits right now, Lawson is looking good. He is in second. And like I said, you could take something from this, but you don't need to take a lot from it. It's day one. So, you take things with a grain of salt, right? You don't necessarily say to yourself that this is going to be an indication of where the teams are going to be completely for the season, right? So we'll just kind of sit back and check it out. It's good to see Lewis Hamilton on track with Ferrari. Everybody's been very excited about seeing Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari. Many of the Ferrari fans locally showed out to see him on the track as they brought out the new 2025 car. Jack Doohan right now is in sixth place with an Alpine, as Alonso right now is in seventh. Piastri in eighth. I We're not going to really say that's disappointing right now. It's the first day. It's the morning. They got a whole nother session to go later this afternoon. Seeing Pia Pia in eighth is not going to be alarming right now. Now, what will be alarming later on would be seeing McLaren in eighth at day three. At that point in time, I don't want us to revert back to when Mercedes first came out with the slim down side pod concept and say that, oh, they're sandbagging. I think that whole sandbagging narrative is gone. There we go right there. Atlassian with Williams with the Flow Viz on the car. I think that is awesome. And matter of fact, let me slow that down some so we can actually get a little bit more time looking at some of these images on the car, because it is important. I definitely like to take a look at the Flow Viz and the Aero Rakes. But right there, as you see, Flow Viz, if it's your first time watching testing in Formula One, Flow Viz is something that they will use to get you an idea of how the air is flowing across the surfaces of the car. And that information will then tell them, are they getting what they intended to get? Are things not going as well as they thought they did as far as in planning and CFD and computer generations? But that right there will tell them, yeah, we're getting what we want to. If you see this Flow Viz looking real choppy and it looks in blotchy, that's not good airflow. You want to see good streams kind of just going in the direction that you want to go and in a nice smooth pattern. All right. If you see it swirling up, that means air is getting trapped right there and kind of not being clean. So those are not things that you really want right there. And as we also look right here, Alonso and Aston Martin is in seventh. And if this is right now, like I said, nothing right now is alarming about any of this. This is the first day of testing. There are plenty of things that will change as this day goes on. Remember, because you will have a session 2 in the afternoon. And of course, you will begin to get beautiful photographs of the cars on track as they near the end of those sessions, because the evening will kick in, and it just develops such a very passionate look of Formula One as we enter the season. If you get that sunset and you catch the car at the right angle and the silhouettes and the shadows, you will get some unbelievably awesome photos there. All right. Yuki right now in a Racing Bull is is also nice. Now here we go. We got the Red Bull on track right here, and right off it, really doesn't look like much has changed. Okay, we're going to get closer looks. We're going to start looking at more photographs of this car. We're going to start comparing it to the 2024 car versus the 2025 car that is now on track. This is where Red Bull, if they do have anything that they're going to release, they'll bring it out. They're not going to wait until the last moment to bring out something. They definitely understand that last season was a bit of a situation toward the end of the season. So I don't think they got enough time or enough gumption to try to sit here and say, yeah, we're going to play the game and we're just going to come out. They don't have Adrian Newey anymore. That smoking gun is gone. So they're going to have what they're going to be running right now. This is the time they're going to bring it out. So we'll do some comparison on that. And there's going to be loads of pictures with Flow Viz. There's going to be loads of pictures with Aero Rakes. Okay, there's going to be a lot of changes as we get into day 2 and day 3. They're going to start pushing more. Then in day 2, you're going to usually toward day 2, session 2, what you start to get are drivers kind of getting a little edgy and willing to kind of test each other or test their cars against each other in some of the straights and out of the turns, almost kind of racing each other is pretty much what you'll get. Not kind of, you will get them doing that, but they'll be very careful about how much they press that. They'll be very careful about how much they're going to, damn it. Oh, I gotta forget. I can't, as much as I want to, kind of got to chill, bit of recovery going on. So yeah, they can't necessarily they don't want to take the chance in wrecking a car as if they were in the season. This is preseason. Right now, they need to keep these cars together as much as possible. They need to do their best not to ruin these pieces and these parts, because they need to collect as much data as they can from this testing. And this is a very important and crucial part of the season for you to try to get a leg up on anybody else, or just a leg up period within your program. And if your driver is hitting the track and just ruining the car to the point where you're spending more time assembling, well, really disassembling and reassembling the car, you've lost valuable time. You've lost the moments that you need in order to make yourself better going into this season, round one. So, yo, a little bit of sliding right there from Piastri coming out of that turn too. Yeah, he definitely was sliding through out of there. Right now, Yusuf Piastri is still in eighth. He's going to be trying to improve his time a little bit more, trying to bring it up. Right now, you got Alonso doing, you got Hulk all into the pitch, you got Antonelli in the pitch. Lewis Hamilton right now is still out on track. He's on a set of mediums. He's now in fifth place. Yuki Tsunoda with the Racing Bulls is in fourth. Albon is in third in a Williams. Like I said, as much as we're not going to be frightened that we see Piastri in eighth, I don't think anybody's frightened about seeing Stake or Haas in ninth and 10th. Like we don't really care right now, right? We don't even really care about that right now. We're just not going to be alarmed that Piastri's in the eighth, Lewis Hamilton's in fifth, and even more so, totally excited and just wowed at Lawson and Antonelli in first and second. Now, come day 3, if this is what the chart does look like, yeah, well, then there's going to be some sad people, and there's going to be, comes off track right there, exceeds track limits right there in the last scene, Williams. And that will be Albon. But it is cool to just kind of come into this and start seeing the cars getting out on track, start seeing the teams get ready. It's a very exciting moment. Big shout out to Sylvia Witt Kelly. Big shout out to Broken Hypocrite. Nice to see you, brother. I tried to check on you a couple of times, Broken Hypocrite. I hope everything's going good for you. Big shout out to Nadir. Well, Dave's Quattro is in the live chat. So, yeah, you all. I can't, unfortunately, I won't be able to come on as long as I did last season for testing because of my situation, but I am going to do my best to come on as much as possible for both the morning and afternoon session, maybe. But definitely I will try to be here at one point or time during a session each day of preseason testing. So you just had to bear with me, work with me, but we are bear with me, no pun intended by bearman. But yeah, it is good to see these cars out on track. It is awesome to see the season actually get started. Don't forget March, I think it's March 7th, we will have Drive to Survive, new season. Big shout out to Paul in the super chat, man. Always supporting the channel. Good day, fam. Let's go LH44. Hope everyone has a great day. Smash the like button. Peace and love. Brother, man, peace and love to you always. Big shout out to you, brother. So yeah, this is exciting, man. And my favorite portion of testing is FlowViz. I enjoy seeing them almost do half of the car in FlowViz because FlowViz, as well as when they do the streamers, which is an older Formula One trick before FlowViz, using the streamer so they can in real time see how airflow is moving across the car, and they take a lot of pictures. Go back and look at those. That tells you a lot. All of these methodical ways of trying to understand in real time what the car is doing as it moves through the air is very interesting, and it's very fun to look at the pictures post that or look at them do it in real time, because to some of us that are car enthusiasts that actually work on our cars, there's a concept and a dynamic that we understand and appreciate there for the information that's being collected to then go back and tune and tweak the car to make it better. If you have ever been in a racing season, whether it's Weekend Warrior, whether it's an elimination round of drag racing, circuit racing, hot lap racing, time attack, you understand what it is to take your car to the track every week and then try to compete and then have to go into testing and then go into the actual race or the elimination rounds, then to take your car back to your home and for the rest of those next 4 or 5 days, try to evolve the car within your competitive environment against your competition. So people like me really do enjoy watching these teams collect information. I really do enjoy the practice sessions of the actual Formula One season. I really do enjoy watching all of that process because I understand what it is in my own experience to try and get the most out of your vehicle, to try to get the most out of your car. And so it's interesting when you see things like the aero rakes on Lewis Hamilton's car right there collecting data. What are they going to do with that? How are they going to be able to manipulate that? Is there something that they're going to be able to change? Have they put themselves in a position where the part to change is just extremely expensive? We realize we put ourselves in a situation going into the season where we're going to be behind the ball. That's interesting. So when I hear Domenicali talking about getting rid of practice sessions, I'm not with that. I'm not with it at all. Am I with the limited practice sessions when we go into sprint weeks? Of course. Of course I'm with that, because it adds a bit of challenge for the teams to try and figure things out in a smaller window. I'm all about that. I'm all about challenges, but I'm not about omitting something that definitely makes Formula One what it is in that sense. So I'm not with that. But as we go to the big board right here, you'll see Antonelli is still in first out there. Rookie, pretty much his official rookie season. Antonelli first in a W16. Is Mercedes actually going to come back alive as we've watched them be 8-time consecutive constructor champions? Is the W16 now the evolution of this W Series car from since the W15, 14, and 13 just completely derailed their program? They derailed their program with that car, had to completely abandon that concept, couldn't get it right. And here it is now with a more conventional concept within this era or evolution of cars. Is this where they're going to be? Is Mercedes going to return back to their championship status at some magnitude, whether driver or constructor? That is a big question for Mercedes. Also, Lawson sitting right there in a Red Bull rookie season, joining the team officially. We're going to see what he's going to be and do as Max Verstappen's teammate in the other side of the garage, which is something that we'll talk about, but testing creeped up on us. So we'll kind of grab that conversation before going into the season. Where's Williams going to be with Albon and Carlos? That's going to be also a nice big question that people are going to want. Where is Yuki? Where's Yuki going to be in the best livery to start the season? Where's Yuki going to be? Right now, Yuki Tsunoda's in fourth. Is it possible that we see Yuki Tsunoda in the top 5 finishing races within the season? That could be absolutely crazy. Absolutely. And then Hamilton, there's so many stories. There's so many outcomes. There's so many predictions that people can make right now with this season. Lewis Hamilton with his new team, Ferrari, as we've watched many other great drivers go through Ferrari, finishing out their careers pretty much. Where will he be when the season starts? Where will Ferrari be as a program? Where will Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc be as 2 drivers adding to the Constructor Championship for Ferrari? Is Ferrari going to get a championship on either side of that fence, driver or constructor? Jack Doohan with Alpine, where's Alpine going to be? They've decided to vacate their works team and are now a customer team for Mercedes. How is that going to benefit them? Is Gasly and Doohan going to be able to come into this season and elevate Alpine after was vacating themselves as a work team the better decision for their overall program? Alonso and Stroll, hearing a little bit of news that Adrian Newey might not want Stroll there. Can they get a better driver in that car? Are they going to take a step forward with all the things that they've decided to do and change in their program to make themselves the best team on the grid? Is what they're in search for with Lawrence Stroll. You got Honda coming in. You got Alonso still there and a 2-time champion. You've now added Adrian Newey to design you a rocket ship. You got new facilities that are going to give you the best of the state-of-the-art type of information. And then we got McLaren. Where's McLaren going to be? Seeing them fall flat on their face in so many words, it was a little bit disturbing that they didn't understand where they were. And by the time they realized where they were, they realized that they had been calling the wrong strategies, that they didn't have their team orders together, and that they had been making decisions on track that were a midfield team instead of a top running team. Will they come out just slinging and banging? Will Stake go majority of the season without a point? That was embarrassing. Definitely, as we know that is supposedly a wolf in sheep's clothing, as that is going to be the Audi team next year. And to see them not collect a point until pretty much the final rounds of last season, that's embarrassing. Okay, that's not, we all anticipate that Audi have their hands involved in this program. And if that's what they have to give us, we're a little bit concerned going into 2026 about seeing this new team. As exciting as it is going to be, that's going to be a honeymoon phase for Audi. All right. That's going to be a honeymoon phase. Getting into 6 rounds of the season in 2026, if Audi is dead last, nobody's going to be applauding that. Nobody will be applauding that. So that will be That will be a bit of a problem. And I'm telling you right now. And then we have Haas. I know what I say about Haas. Okay. I know what I say about Haas. I know that it is, I don't care for Haas. Okay. But I do like Komatsu. I do like that they have Ocon and Berriman. And I do appreciate and applaud them for looking pretty damn good last season in perspective to what they have looked like. So it is still going to be interesting to see where they're going to be. Because let's just be real. Seeing Haas collect points almost every race, even if it's in 10th place, is a big accomplishment for that team. It's a big accomplishment for that team. We can't, you can't even deny that. All right. You can't deny that. So we will see what goes on, but yeah, it's an interesting time for sure, and we're gonna be here the whole time trying to check it out and trying to see what they're going to do. And this is just the exciting part of the season because now we get to kind of decide and see if we are right about these teams and if your team is actually going to start off being dominant in the season, right? Because that's what you want to see. You want to see if your team's going to be dominant in the season. You're really hoping that is the case. You're really hoping that they're going to take that next step forward, that they're going to be sitting at the top of podiums, that your driver is going to be on the podium at some point in time in the season. All of that is what you want to know. All of that. And so that is something that we're going to be going through here, surely, and finding out for ourselves. So as we sit right there with 10 minutes left to go right here in this session, Antonelli is still at the top. Lawson is in second. Albon's in third. Lewis Hamilton's been in fifth. And this is where I pretty much tell you all, this is why we don't take as much from this as we take from, just as we don't take much from Q1 sessions, because right now, they're just getting a feel for the car. They're pushing. They are pushing, but they're pushing in within a window of responsibility to the point where we're not going to risk damaging the car. We need to get some data. We need to understand how this is actually going to be. This is a track where we will have a round of racing. So, yeah, this definitely matters, man. Definitely matters. Big shout out to Paul. Big shout out to Sylvia with Kelly. It's so good to see the fam sitting in the live chat. Look at all those purple and blue badges, man. Big shout out to the purple and blue badge fam. Y'all are absolutely awesome. Just absolutely awesome. So, yeah, we got Jack doing his thing. We have 9 minutes left in this session. Jack Doohan sitting so many times behind the camera or in front of the camera with a mic, now sitting behind the wheel inside of a car. I know he has to be absolutely excited about his opportunity in Formula One. And I think anybody that cares should be excited for him. You know, I think Jack Doohan seemed to be a pretty good guy. He gave good analysts, he gave good points, especially as a race driver. So yeah, I definitely am appreciating Jack Doohan somebody like him getting an opportunity in Formula One. I think it's really cool for him. I think that's awesome for him. So looking forward to see what he's going to do with Alpine throughout the whole season. You know, Gasly was the better driver, it seemed, or the most trusted driver, it seemed, for Alpine last season. It's going to be cool to see these rookies because we have a load of rookies hitting the track. Got a load of rookies. We got Lawson officially in Red Bull. You know, we got, who else? We got Hadjar sitting in the Racing Bulls. We got Doohan in Alpine. We got Berriman in Haas. We got Antonelli at Mercedes. These rookies are going to be on spotlight for the whole season. We're going to be trying to compare, like, who's going to be Roddy, who's going to be Rookie of the Year, right? So we're going to see which one of these rookies is actually going to perform better. We already know which one of these rookies had the best F2 season. And we know some of these rookies that weren't even in the top 5. And a lot of times you'd be surprised. Well, some things kind of change when they get with different teams and you're in Formula One, you're with a different program. Adjustments happen, and all of a sudden you see a driver who maybe wasn't the best to you in F2 become a strong driver in Formula One. But we'll see if that actually happened. Now, I will tell you, one of the most disappointing things to me is season after season, after seeing him win an F2 championship, was to know that Felipe Drugovich still with no official seat in Formula One is very disturbing to me. Red Card DJs. Big shout out for the super chat, man. Big shout out. I like that profile image too, man. That's dope. Big shout out to Red Card DJs. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and the content very much. So yeah, well, I need to do something on that. I'm a little disappointed in that. I really kind of hold that against Lawrence Stroll and his nepotism situation with Lance Stroll. And it's just not a good look. It really isn't a good look. It's not a good look for you to have a champion sitting in your garage behind a driver who has clearly underperformed. I just had to get into that later. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. It's upsetting for the sport. It's not even good for the sport. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So here it is. We'll go into it. And right now, Oscar Piastri pushing a bit more as he is out on track. And we also wouldn't Hulk and Berman in the garage are not doing anything. They're in the pits at least. Yuki and Lawson of all the Red Bull teams are in the pits. And I still think that needs to be addressed. I still think very much so that we should be addressing the fact that Red Bull has 4 cars, 4 drivers, and 2 teams on the track. I think that needs to be broken up in such a way where ownership is not the same at all. All right. I just do not agree with that. I am not in favor of that. And I think it's bad for the sport. And it's a bad look for the sport. And a lot of people have mentioned that. So I'm talking about ownership all the way and we got Cadillac. I can't wait to see them come out now. We've been hearing some rumors about Cadillac coming to the track, and I have to say I'm not in agreement with their driver lineup. I'm just not. I think one of those drivers has overrun their stay in Formula One. I think one of those drivers has had more than their opportunity in a plethora of teams in Formula One at different levels, and I think we've seen their performance at either spot after Red Bull be very subpar. So I'm not. Cadillac doing that is not the best. I would like to see if Colton Herta is interested in coming out, and that would be nice, right? That would be very cool if he can get everything he needs, his super license and all his credentials and documents lined up to be in Formula One. I think that I'd prefer to see Jamie Chadwick before I see Dan Ricciardo. I do. I'd prefer to see Alex Palou. He's doing awesome, though. Alex Palou is doing awesome where he is. But I'd prefer to see Alex Palou if that legal situation can get worked out with contracts with Cadillac, even though he's not an American, born American. I mean, Alex Palou is a dog. Like, bro is a dog. I met him. He was a cool guy in person. Don't know what he is past his personal life outside of the paddock. But when I met him, it was cool. Conversation was cool. And he's a dog right now, for real. I mean, he's a winner. He is a competitor, and we already know that at one point in time with McLaren trying to see about coming in, and then everything kind of fell apart with that deal contracts and agreements and all that stuff. But I kind of was in favor of him staying in the racing series he's in, because it's like, why you want to leave that? You're like winning, and winning equals money and sponsorships. But I understood his position and what at least he told me why he would be willing to make the move to Formula One. But I think at the end of the day, he probably made the better decision for his career. I saw one of his commercials the other day, and it was a damn good commercial. I enjoyed it. So, yeah, I see Max Verstappen commercials whenever they do finally come on, and I can say they are pretty lackluster and without personality. Alex Palou's commercial, he didn't even say much, was still better than any Max Verstappen commercial I've ever seen in my life. And that's not even hate. That just is what it is, and that's kind of sad. To be a 4-time world champion and your commercials suck butt. And, it just is what it is. We got about 3 more minutes right here as we're in the day 1 morning session of testing. I will have to get extremely medicated, and I don't know if I'll make the afternoon session physically with how I'm feeling right now, just trying to talk as much as I'm talking. This is actually the first time I've talked this much, and it's crazy the amount of pain or body parts and muscle groups you realize once they've been extremely cut into, that you realize, like, yo, the simple things like talking are painful. The simple things like sitting up in a chair are painful. The simple things like having to ride in a car on the way to appointments are ridiculously painful. And I deal with pain very well, but it's me just realizing that, yo, it's like, damn, that doesn't feel good. And it's not, I'm not even doing much. It's kind of crazy. Just sidebar. But let's go ahead, go to the boards. I kind of got lost right there just thinking about it. But yeah, I am definitely gonna be laying down after this. But there's no way I was gonna have preseason testing and not join you all. There's no way I was gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. That's hard. It was hard for me. All right, it was hard for me. I already had finished going through something this morning, and I said to myself, "Nah, we gotta get together on the first day of testing. There's no way I can't get with the Wolfpack fam on the first day of testing." So yeah, if I got to deal with this after, I'll deal with it after. I got the whole day to just kind of lay down and chill and relax. And you never know what happens later, right? So you got to enjoy life while you can. Life is short. I've come to realize that life can throw you a bunch of curves, and life can, for sure. Appreciate you, Sylvia Wick Kelly. Appreciate you, Mary Beanie. That's for sure. And things can happen in your life that change the way you're gonna live your life forever. But one thing, especially in the Navy, if I can stand tall and the sun can hit my face, I'm probably better off than somebody in the ground, right? So try to do what you can do when you can do. Enjoy those people that you can while you can. So big shout out to the Wolfpack fan pulling up with me. It's now this early, and it's always awesome. I know I'm going to see Mary Beanie no matter what time I come on. Sylvia Wick Kelly, Racer X210. Broken Hypocrite making an appearance in the live chat was absolutely legend. Been wondering where you were. Some of our new family members in here, Red Cards DJs doing a nice super chat. Dave's Quattro understands what I'm talking about in life. As a family member on YouTube, we've been through so many things and understand what we've all been through in life. Dave Quattro, big shout out to you. You're still here. You already know what we're talking about. We don't have to elaborate on that. I'm so glad to see that you're still around and that you're still here. That's positive. Paul, always positive every morning. Peace and love into the fam, coming in, checking in, even while he's at work. Sylvia Wick Kelly understand that she's been through a lot in her life in the past couple of years, still here, still being positive, still standing tall. And Mary Beanie's been through a lot. Racer X210's been through a lot. We all understand that we've been through a lot here as a family trying to enjoy the sport of Formula One. And it's just so much more to it, right? Maria Duncan, we know Nal Ottomain, and just everybody, man. So yeah, when you get together as a family and you understand that you go through things together, growing pains, losing people, changes in your physical life going forward. I'm trying to really, I'm right now, I'm trying to learn how to live an entirely different life. Like my life is forever going to be different going forward, and so every day is a challenge. So, but we're still here. I'm down like 50 pounds since I've been going through what I've been going through. I'm down 50 pounds total. I used to even compete. I can't compete anymore. So yeah, it's a different way of life, but still it's a life that you still can live. And although I'm not very happy with it right now, I'm happy with the fact that I am alive and I get to fight every day. So big shout out to you all the positive words of encouragement, good wishes on recovery. I really do appreciate it. It does make a difference. And right there, as we hit the clock, is zeroed out. We will see that these cars are going to come out in pits. Antonelli finishing day one, first morning session in first. Lawson in second. Albon right there in third. Yuki Tsunoda in fourth. Hamilton in fifth. Dorn in sixth. Alonso seventh. Pia in eighth. Hulk ninth. And Behrman for Haas in 10th. Last out of 10 drivers. So on that second part of the day, these teams will go to their next itinerary of drivers. Some drivers will still remain in there a full day, which I'm kind of in agreement to that. I like to see let both drivers get a full day of testing, both morning and afternoon, and then on maybe the final day, split the morning and afternoon between both drivers. But that would be my methodology going in. I would like to see each driver get a full day of testing. Day one, first session, second session. Day two, first, second session. Day three, let's go ahead and split, see which driver will get the evening session, which driver will get the morning session. I think that's a better way to go about it. I think there's something about going in day one, first session, and then having everything broken up, and then it's like an entire rest of that day until I think like you're going to get a full day of that. So yeah, definitely cool here. And as we are sitting, remember Antonelli had a very big spin out at one time, and there he is coming in a bit hot into that turn right there. locking it up, but not coming off track, irresponsibility. And there goes Lewis Hamilton right in front of him. So yeah, he definitely put some flat spots in those tires for sure. Definitely. So there it is, day one, morning session, testing concluded. We'll look at the board in big. We'll see the next itinerary of drivers that will come in later on. And from there, we will definitely be wondering what these teams will do going forward into the second session, who's going to make some tweaks and changes. We're going to see these teams change on the leaderboard. And this is all part of Formula One testing. So if it's your first time watching it, if you're first time watching with us, feel free to get into the live chat, be a member, get into the Discord. Feel free to support the channel, super chat, say what you got to say, make it big and proud. Lewis Hamilton coming into pits with his new team in Ferrari, didn't go into the Mercedes pits, which he's done that before in his career. And I think Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton has been working. Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton have really been trying to make this cohesiveness work. And Lewis Hamilton especially doing what he has done. And we're going to talk about that later on and see how that goes. So there we go. Right now, they're going to go ahead and take lunch. I'm going to go ahead and lay my ass back down. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so big shout out to everybody. Day one in the morning session is concluded. Thanks for joining. Be on the lookout if I'm going to do day one, second session, and day two and day three. And we will be doing other videos. The Wolfpack fam will be in the Discord this weekend talking about testing. So be ready for me to announce that so we can spend some time hearing your ideas, hearing your thoughts about testing, what you thought after seeing 3 days of testing as far as with the team. So I will see you all soon. Peace and love. Wolfpack out.